This is Slabs-Mugoo here, and today we're coming at you with scary stories. And all my life, I've had weird stuff happen and lots of things that I can't explain. And to this day, I'm really not sure what most of it means, not sure what to do with it. So I'm here to tell you some of my experiences, and maybe you can tell me what you think. When I was 13, one of the first experiences that I'd really had with ghosts is I was at my father's, and my parents were divorced at the time, so I would go over there on the weekdays, and on the weekends get to spend it with my father. Well, one night I'm sitting on my bunk bed watching TV, 3 or 4 in the morning like normal, and I start to get this eerie feeling that I'm not the only one in the room. So I start to scan the room with my eyes, and I look around, and on my nightstand by the window there was an R2-D2 lamp. And normally you look at a reflection and you match it with something near pretty close. Well, I noticed that this lamp was nowhere near the window opening. So I look at the window opening and I notice the reflection of the lamp in the window. And it's just confusing to think about. So I sit there and stare, and I stare and I stare. And then all of a sudden, my brain tells my eyes what I'm looking at. And I realize that there is a woman's face staring back at me through this window. So I freeze. And this is the first time in my life I've ever felt this kind of fear before. And I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything but stare, locked eyes with whatever was staring at me in the window. So I jump out of the bed when I finally break free of whatever it was, and I run up and close the window blinds. Well, I wait a few minutes, and I notice when I open the blinds again, the face is still there. And as you know, in like most movies will show you, you look at it, look away, look back, it's gone. Well, that's not really the case. It sat there and looked at me straight in the face, and to this day, I still fear the fear that I had that night as a 13-year-old kid, and I'm 25 now. And to this day, I still am terrified of windows. I still don't go look out of them at night. And the face of this woman was something that I'll never be able to put into words. Like, I'll never be able to truly show you what I saw. But I can describe what I saw. In the window, there is a woman's face. And I know most of you have seen the movie The Grudge. Well, this lady looked just like The Grudge. Long black hair, very white skin, wide eyes, wide mouth. And I noticed as I stared and stared, I looked down, and there's no body. The head is just floating there. And when I looked into her eyes, I realized that there wasn't eyes there. It was 2 black holes. Infinite darkness. I've never seen this kind of emptiness in anything in my entire life. And her mouth was 4 or 5 inches open, which is far beyond what a human can do. So I run and I get my dad in the next room. He comes in, checks the window, checks around, nothing. So I continue my night and go to sleep like nothing ever happened. And I wake up the next morning and we chat about it. Well, that following night, I'm laying in my bed, and on my bunk bed, you can separate them. Well, my dad had chose to separate them so that I wasn't looking in the window anymore. And so they were side by side with a gap in the middle. My brother was there, and he was sleeping on the bed beside me. And like I often did, I'm up, 3, 4 in the morning, doing what kids do. And all of a sudden, I had thrown my pants into the middle of the floor, and something caught my eye, and I looked down into the middle of the room, and I watched my pants drag under my bed with such force it drove me to jump on my bed and back into the corner. And I start to cry. Like, I'm bawling my eyes out, trying to wake my brother up. And then he jumps up and he sees that I'm freaking out and he doesn't know what's going on. And then my dad comes in the room and everyone assures me that I need to go back to sleep. So that morning finally comes and I get up, and the first thing on my mind is those pants. I definitely saw those pants move. And so I get out and I notice my pants aren't anywhere to be found. So I lean down and look under the bed, and in the corner of that bed are my pants shoved completely against the wall. And it's just, these things have led me to be very cautious of nighttime. And speaking of nighttime, my third story, there was a time when I was younger and I worked at a fast food restaurant, and I'd often take the back roads home because I lived in the country. And on my way home, one night particularly, it was very dark and foggy that night, and I remember it well. I was driving down this road in my car, 1991 Buick, little crappy car, and I'm slowly chugging down this back road, and I glance over to my left and I see something standing there on the side of a cornfield. And at this point, I'm not really sure what it is. Often around our area, there's homeless people, there's drug addicts that hang out and, do weird stuff at night. Well, I slow down to take a look at what I'm looking at, and as I pass it, going about 20 miles an hour, I notice that what I'm looking at is actually a small little figure standing there. And when I say small figure, I know everyone's seen the Holocaust survivors. And I'm talking about, it was so thin, there was no way anything could humanly live like that. So I'm looking at it, and this thing is about 3'5". It is super short. And it's got like pale, almost gray skin. And its head, and this gives me cold chills even to this day when I talk about it. Its head was long, but its face was disfigured. Like, have you guys ever seen when, you get water in your eyes and it's super blurry? His face was like permanently blurry, and his arms and legs were far longer than his torso. So I see this thing, and when I lock eyes with it, I realize that, like I said, its face is distorted. Like, you can't make out facial features. So I floor it. I hit easily 60 miles an hour down that back road. And to this day, I'm really not sure what it could have been or what it was, but I still will not take those back roads to this day. And I've been seeing stuff my whole life. If you guys would like to share experiences that you've had with ghosts, please do in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. This is Slabs-Mugoo. Very happy you guys joined me and listened to my stories. It's nice to share this kind of stuff. Not everybody gets to, share their story, and I would love to hear your guys' story. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.